people who grew up in homes where feelings were not spoken, where expressing what you thought, what you felt, what you needed was not welcomed, not safe, or simply not part of how things worked. That kind of environment over time teaches you that your inner world is a problem, that what you feel is too much, that you are better off keeping it to yourself. There are people who were never told that directly, but life taught them the same thing gradually, through experiences that were never processed, relationships where they learned to make themselves smaller, or moments of reaching out that were not met. And there are people who simply never learned. No one showed them. No one treated the inner life as something worth paying attention to. The result in all three cases is the same: a person who has lost a connection to themselves, who carries things they cannot name, who knows something is unresolved but does not have a way to reach it. This is one of the most common human experiences over time, and it is exactly what this practice was built to address. I include myself here. I grew up in an environment where feelings were not expressed openly, and communicating what you carried was not something that was truly allowed. The way I found out of that was writing. I did not understand at the time that it was a recognized healing practice, or that research would later confirm what I was already experiencing. What I knew was that after writing, something changed. I continued that practice through the years in different forms, and I continue it today. People tend to associate simple things with weak things. Writing is simple. A pen and paper are available to almost anyone. Particularly because of that, people discount what this practice actually produces. That is a mistake. Some of the most significant internal changes a person can go through happen through the consistent and honest act of putting words on a page. Simplicity is not the absence of power. This practice did not start with modern wellness culture or contemporary psychology. It is ancient. Knowing where it comes from changes how you approach it. The Egyptians kept written records of their dreams as a direct form of communication with the divine. In that tradition, the inner life and the spiritual life were not separate things. Writing was the bridge between them. The teachings of Buddha were written down as documentation of inner awakening. His path was one of deep self-inquiry, and writing became the way that inquiry was carried across centuries to the people who needed it. The teachings of Jesus were written down by his disciples as living transmissions. Writing was understood as the method of preserving what was essentially true about human experience and this relationship to something larger than itself. Rumi wrote as a direct expression of his inner spiritual experience. What is now considered his greatest work began as personal outpouring. He was processing what was moving through him, and writing was the only container large enough to hold it. Writing slows a person down enough to hear what is actually happening inside them. Writing is not separate from prayer, it is a form of it. Writing your intentions, your fears, your desires, your gratitude, and directing them towards something larger than yourself is an act of both honesty and surrender. This is why writing appears at the center of so many spiritual practices across cultures and centuries. It is the mechanism through which inner truth is accessed and expressed. Many people who practice deep written reflection describe a point where the writing begins to feel less like something they are constructing and more like something they are receiving. Thoughts arrive that were not planned. Clarity appears without being directly sought. This is what happens when the analytical mind is occupied with the physical act of writing, and something deeper is given space to come forward. When a person writes about something they have been carrying, they move it from the part of the brain that holds raw feeling into the part that processes meaning and language. That shift is itself a form of processing. It creates distance from the experience, more clarity about it, and the real reduction in its intensity. The sense of relief that follows honest writing reflects something that is genuinely happening in the brain and the body. Writing also slows the mind down in a way that thinking alone does not. A person cannot write as fast as they think. That slower pace creates space between an experience and the response to it. That space, a clearer and more honest perspective, becomes possible. In therapeutic practice, written self-reflection is one of the most consistently recommended tools across different approaches. It extends the work that happens in sessions, holds material that sessions cannot always reach, and provides a private and structured space for ongoing processing. For people without access to professional support, it is a legitimate and effective practice on its own. Self-reflection is the intentional examination of your thoughts, feelings, patterns, and beliefs. It is not the same as sitting quietly and thinking about your life, and it is completely different from rumination. Self-reflection is active and directed. It is oriented toward honest examination with the purpose of actually understanding something. Many people believe they are practicing self-reflection when they are actually ruminating. The result of genuine self-reflection is increased self-awareness and the ability to make more conscious choices. The result of rumination is exhaustion and the reinforcement of the same pattern. Self-awareness is the foundation of growth in every area of human life: emotional, relational, spiritual, professional. A person cannot change what they have not clearly seen, and they cannot heal what they have not honestly named. Self-reflection is the practice through which seeing and naming become possible. Thought is fast, non-linear, and impermanent. A person can think about themselves for a very long time and arrive at nothing concrete. When the same material is written, it slows down, takes form, and stays still long enough to be genuinely examined. Writing produces a quality and depth of self-reflection that thinking alone rarely reaches. Writing as a practice takes many forms, and understanding them gives you a clearer sense of what is available to you. Free writing is unstructured and unfiltered. You write continuously without stopping to edit or judge what comes out. The purpose is to move past the part of the mind that monitors and controls and access what is operating underneath it. Prompted writing is guided by specific questions or themes. It gives direction without limiting the depth of what emerges. This is the form used in this practice. Question is given and the writer follows it honestly, not performing an answer but finding one. Gratitude writing is the consistent documentation of what is present, working, and valuable in a person's life. Dream writing is the immediate recording of dreams upon waking before the conscious mind has had time to filter or rationalize the content. Dreams communicate through symbol and image. Written documentation over time reveals patterns and recurring material that carry real information about what is happening in the deeper parts of a person's inner life. Shadow writing directs attention toward what is typically avoided, the emotions that are suppressed, the parts that are uncomfortable to acknowledge, the parts of the self that are easier to ignore. It is among the most transformative forms of written practice. It engages with material that does not resolve through avoidance. Spiritual writing is the documentation of the inner spiritual life. Experiences, questions, synchronicities, shifts in understanding, and development over time. Maintained consistently, it becomes a record of how a person has grown and changed through their life. Letters that are never sent are a specific and powerful form of written expression, written toward people or future versions of the self, or toward experiences that were never fully processed. They create space for honest communication that circumstances did not allow. There is a real difference between writing by hand and typing. When you write by hand, more of your brain is engaged simultaneously. The regions responsible for movement, sensation, memory, and emotion all activate together. Research on learning consistently shows that handwriting encodes experiences more deeply than typing. Beyond the neurological dimension, there is a physical quality to handwriting that carries its own significance. It is slower and more deliberate. You feel the words leaving you in a way that pressing keys does not replicate. This is why every releasing ritual, every manifestation practice, every sacred writing tradition across cultures involve ink and paper. The physical act is part of what makes the practice work. Many of the most significant releasing rituals across cultures involve writing as their center act. Writing what you want to release and burning the paper. Writing a letter and sealing it permanently. Writing gives external form to internal experience. Once something exists outside of you as written language, it can be examined, worked with, and released in a way that purely internal processing does not allow. The relationship between writing and manifestation works on the same principle. Every serious manifestation practice involves writing as a core component. Scripting, in which a person writes their desired reality as already real, writing intentions at a specific point in a lunar cycle. These practices exist because writing moves something from the register of thought into the register of form. An intention that exists only as a thought occupies a different place in reality than one that has been deliberately committed to paper. This practice existed long before it reached me. It belongs to the full history of human experience and to every culture that has understood the inner life as something worth examining honestly. What this practice offers is a guided and structured entry into written self-reflection. The themes are provided, the questions are provided, the structure is provided. What you bring is your honesty and your willingness to look at what you find. How you write is entirely yours. The form, the object, the setting, none of that is prescribed here. What matters is that you show up honestly on the page. In the next video, I will walk you through exactly how this practice works, what you need to prepare, and what to expect from the experience. Before then, find something to write on. That is your only task.